teams making their way to the field. We've got Teamless in front of me. Introducing first the team from Tawa and Two Shades of Blue and the Hoops, playing from south to north. Number 23, Rosina Afa. 13, Susana Afa. And number 2, Tauta Afa Masanga. And number 5, Faith Finau. And number 6, Jasmine Fitness. And number 4, Emily Humphreys. And number 8, India McMahon. And number 12, Mevi Nawakantambu. And number 21, Tamara Ruaporo Ngatuakana. And number 1, Abasao. And number 11, Taylor Siaea.
It's a pretty easy device to use. Yep. So when you zoom, just hold it like that, and it's just go slow. Follow the plate. You can just use that, or you can just use it like that. Okay.
We've got Jason McMahon,
Alright.
assisted by John T. Boyd, manager Catherine Hambley, and we've got some volunteers in Parewiki Cummins and Ross Siaea. Over at St. Mary's, and the grey jerseys trimmed in black. We've got Leilani Chapman in the unnumbered jersey. And number 11, we've got Malia Efaremo Leafe. Number 9, we've got Lords Faithful. In number 10, we've got Drena Falaniko. In number 6, we've got Zara Falanati. In number 23, we've got Dallas Flaza Taupa'u. In number 12, we've got Kara J. Kershaw. In number 16, we've got Raupiname Launiuvao. In number 7, Nia Layton. In number 2, Maria Nive Leota. In number 17, we've got Valentina Leota. In number 15, Mercedes Loresio. In the unnumbered jersey, we've got Anna Paruru. In number 19, Agneta Simanu. In number 1, we've got Sia Tolova. In number 3, we've got Naomi Tuya. In number 4, Von Zel Tusa. And number 8, Vailini Vaka. And number 20, Jade Visar. And in number 14, Neko Winitana. And another unnumbered jersey, Anna Paruru. St. Mary's coaches Zach Faunati, assisted by Solomon Asua, manager Mark Hurley, and
it's been a disrupted season, but the Premier 1 girls title will at last be decided on a balmy September night at Jerry Collins Stadium in Pororua. To the right of screen, it's Tawa College. To the left of screen, it's St. Mary's College. St. Mary's College in the grey and black have set the benchmark in this competition in the past 4 years, winning it 3 times. Tawa, coached by Premier halfback John O'Boyd, have never prevailed, but they have a chance tonight to reverse a 64-15 defeat in the round robin. The grand final is underway. St. Mary's College against Tawa College. This is Huddy Sports, brought to you in association with our new sponsor, Pinfold Construction, and a big burst early on by Leota, barnstorming to the 10-metre mark. Tapua. St. Mary's College 35 metres out from the line. Lipa, 10 out from the 22. This is a really positive beginning by St. Mary's College as the barnstorming Tolova Awili storms ahead again. And now Tapao sails through, 15 metres out. Good cover defence by Tawa College. But St. Mary's recycle again. And they have a 4-on-2 overlap if they can utilise their handling. Beautiful rugby, and the opening strike of the final is scored by St. Mary's College.
Well, fantastic start for St. Mary's, Adam. Of course, both these two teams met earlier in the season. St. Mary's running away that day, 64 points to 15, And of course, one of their games was cancelled due to the recent Level 2 restrictions. However, St Mary's, they've had a history here in Wellington of dominating this competition, and they've got off to the right start today.
Well, that's a beautiful beginning by St Mary's College, 5-0.
Conversion unsuccessful. St Mary's
Well,
5-0 over Tawa in the Premier 1.
St Mary's College, founded in 1850, is one of the oldest schools in New Zealand. Tawa, founded in 1961, boasts the bigger roll, 1,400 students as opposed to 650. But St Mary's in recent times have really forged a formidable reputation as a sporting school. Wellington netball champions, Wellington basketball champions, Wellington volleyball champions, and a top draw card in rugby as well, Brad.
Oh, they certainly are. Of course, they've gone on to the top 4 a few times at the national top 4. Of course, they're just not playing this year as St Mary's win the restart. It's a good tackle there by jersey number 23 for Tawa, Dallas. The St Mary's take the ball centre field. They're getting it out to their backs. There's options here for St Mary's. The passes are a bit loose as they tidy up the pill. St Mary's College, 5 years out from touch on the far side here of Jerry Collins Stadium. It's a balmy spring day here in the capital city. And of course we had 2 previous games before. The St Mary's under-15s won the under-15 championship over Wainuiomata, and just before Sacred Heart College won the Premier 2 fixture over Nainai College. And here goes St Mary's as they advance to the 22. This is a fantastic break at him, and sailing through is jersey number 10, Leota. Score 10-0.
Drena Falaniko, searing pace, beautiful footwork. She stepped off the right foot and eluded the last defender, and really, again, Brad, that was set up by the very damaging run of Tolava Willie. She's made 2 noticeable busts in the opening stages of this game. Tawa really struggling to contain the loose head prop for St Mary's, and Falaniko has 2 tries. So St Mary's off to a rapid start, 10-0 in a matter of 4 minutes. This is a 60-minute game, half an hour each way. The girls' premiership started in 2002. The inaugural winners were Sacred Heart College. 2002 was a landmark year for New Zealand women's rugby. The Black Ferns won their 2nd World Cup title, defeated England 19-9 in the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona. And Monique Hiravanah, the legendary halfback, scored the winning try. She's now a dog handler at Auckland Airport, keeping the country safe from coronavirus. And earlier, Brad, there was a very amusing moment when a dog invaded the field and was expertly tackled by a Sacred Heart player. Sacred Heart won Premier 2 as a huge run comes in from Leota. She's to the 22. Desperate chase and tackle by Natuikana. St Mary's College, 15 metres out from the line. This really is an imposing start. Tawa have extracted a turnover. That was vigorous defence at the breakdown. The kick comes in from Rupora Natuikana. Now, she's been fantastic early in this game, Brad. She's made 2 scrambling tackles, chasing earnestly to run down a rampant opposition. St Mary's 10-0 after 5 minutes.
10-0 after 5 minutes, and they've been penalised here for offside, Adam. And Tawa have elected to go for the scrum, 5 metres out from their own try line. Possibly a risky move when you're 10-0 down on the scoreboard against a very dominant St Mary's College. But they're obviously back in their scrum here, Adam.
Well, it is uncontested scrum, so that makes life somewhat easier in that department. The scrum is about 10 metres to the right of the uprights. And Tawa able to clear the ball effectively. one of the features of Tawa's game is their robust running forwards. And of course that's a hallmark of the Premier team as well. Unlucky to miss out on the Jubilee Cup semi-finals this year. Ambitious play by Tawa. Number 12 is Kershaw. But she surrendered the ball. Quick tap. Dash for the line. Twisting. Scoring. And that is number 9. Lourdes Faifua. 15-0 St Mary's, 7 minutes played, Brad.
Well, Tawa not protected the ball there and guilty of making a mistake as Sam Clark walks past, and St Mary's scored their third try, 15 points to 0.
Well, we should illustrate for the viewers tonight just how accomplished this St Mary's rugby program is. Next weekend they tussle with Manukura in the final of the Rex Kerr Cup, which is the Hurricanes regional competition. And Manukura are coached by Black Ferns halfback Christina Sue, and they've been a top 4 New Zealand representative the past 2 years. Prior to that, St Mary's were the best team in the country. 2017 national champions, 2016 runners-up in that first top 4 final, Brad. Alina Saili, now a Black Fern, scored 3 tries for Southland and passed the ball in the in-goal area unselfishly when she could have had 4. In 2017, St Mary's bounced back. Dice Faliafunga, the player of the tournament. Her sister Lyric made the New Zealand Sevens team, and Dice scored 3 tries for Wellington against Tasman in their opening round 62-0 success in the Farah Cup on Saturday. Now here's another powerful run by Tolova'a Willie. She really is rampant. Number 10 is Falaniko. 10 out from halfway. And what's the call there, Brad? Tell us about tonight's officials.
The call here, our official tonight is Ian Lang. Last year he was awarded the Joe O'Brien Memorial Medal. Not so much for administration, but for being a referee that will just drop at any moment to officiate a game during the week. And for his services last year, he earned Wellington Rugby Referees Top Award. So fantastic service to the Referees Association is Ian Lang.
Falaniko again. 22 imminent. She takes a tumble, but rises swiftly to her feet. Hard to stop. Falaniko. Almost dizzy. She ran about 960 degrees in attempting to score that try. And now Leafai is a metre short. Another try for St Mary's. But number 10, Falaniko, like a perfect gymnast at the beginning of this one, Brad. That's 4 tries already for St Mary's. It's 20-0.
Well, 4 tries in 10 minutes, Adam. But Falaniko, she is certainly the ringmaster here for St Mary's. She's directing the play, and she's opening up the defence in Tawa College. And Tawa are finding it extremely tough, Adam, to combat against this lightning attack of St Mary's. Of course, you mentioned just before, St Mary's, of course, have been to the top 4 and best team in the country for 2 years. Last year, though, they went up to Palmerston off highly fancied to beat Manukura. They actually lost big time. Manukura actually gave them a big lesson last year. So, so when they go up there next week, they're certainly going to have that in the back of their mind, that not to take Manukura lightly.
And you can see the intent with which St Mary's is playing. Very disappointed by that outcome last year, but they've started this final with no mercy. 4 tries in 10 minutes. And Tawa, who are a very competitive outfit, 3 wins in the competition this year, are being pulverised.
It's better. Yeah, they've had some good wins, Tawa, but they're finding it really challenging here as the restart is back underway, and St Mary's with the ball advance closer to halfway. Here is Falaniko. She reaches in playing halfback. She gives it out to jersey 11, Leafai. And Leafai advances over the halfway line. The advantage being played here for St Mary's. It appears to be offside as the call by referee Lang. There's no advantages there, and offside is the call. So Tawa just guilty, not creeping back behind the highmost foot, Adam.
St Mary's College up by 20-0 and really illustrating their championship credentials early in this one. Number 3 is Tuia. Look at those legs, striding gamefully to the 22. St Mary's have a 3-on-1. The passing is clinical and the finish is sweet. That is 5 tries for St Mary's and it's 25-0 already.
Well, it's a bit like a training session, Adam. 25-0, only 12 minutes gone. And Tawa College, well, they've got a lot of work to do here if they're going to have to avoid this scoreline getting more brutal in this Premier 1 final here at Jerry College Stadium. Unfortunately, it's been level 2 again this week, Adam. We all thought it would have been level 1, but unfortunately the government decided level 2, so no crowds here. But it's been a pleasure bringing you this coverage on Huddy Sports and also with the Sideline app and also with College Sport Wellington. It's been fantastic to work with all those outfits today. And of course, Adam, on Monday it was announced that we have our first sponsor on Huddy Sports, which is Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Lane. So if you need any work done on your drains, whether they're blocked or you need some new ones, give Mike Pinfold's company a call.
Top man Michael Pinfold. So number 21 for Tawa is Rupora Natukana. And that's a deep punch to the 22. And a juggle and a catch by St Mary's, who are full of gusto. Well, the Tawa defence at the moment resembles Swiss cheese, full of holes, as St Mary's rumble over halfway. Barge beyond the 10-metre mark. That's a superb run by Efarimu Liapa. St Mary's 15 metres out from the line. And that time they commit an error, Brad.
They commit an error, but there are some real concerns here for a Tawa player in back play. She's wasn't moving for a while, so there's definitely concerns. She suffered a head injury, as the referee calls for the medics. So of course, we're lucky to have Wellington Free Ambulance here. Masks and all on duty today. They do a fantastic job. Donate to a good cause to Wellington Free Ambulance. As we have a stoppage in play here. Excellent break there before by Tusa Adam in the 4 jersey for St Mary's. She was only a matter of metres away from scoring a try, but unfortunately held onto the ball, and so St Mary's were penalised and denied their 6th try.
Well, the interesting thing about St Mary's in this game is they have yet to kick a conversion. 5 unanswered tries, and this injury looks very serious. So Tawa College, founded in 1961, has a very proud rugby program. Their boys' first 15 is in Premier 1 and have scored 2 victories this year. They were runners-up in the co-ed competition to Fielding High School 6 years ago. Tawa's most notable rugby alumni include Murray Mexted, the great All Black number 8 who played 34 consecutive tests, which at the time of his retirement was a record, and Jerry Collins, whose name bears the stadium, is also one of Tawa College's alumni. Their most famous recent sportswoman is Amelia Kerr, the gun cricketer, who won the College Sport Wellington Athlete of the Year award 4 consecutive times. You know, Brad, Amelia Kerr made 229 against Ireland in a women's cricket international, and she had to turn down the sponsorship offer from Guinness.
Well,
16 years old, 229 in a women's
Ireland.
one-day international. What a star, Amelia Kerr.
Well, Huddy Sports would have taken the Guinness sponsorship. As players back underway as St Mary's have been
022
penalised.
62 56 219, Guinness. Well, thankfully the injured player being escorted from the field is standing and walking. That's number 5, Faith Finau. College Sport Wellington celebrating its finals week, Brad. Monday night, Premier Boys football final on Huddy Sports. Premier Boys rugby final to come later in the month as well. In fact, that's right here on September the 27th.
It's a Sunday too, isn't it, Adam?
That's the one.
Be a fantastic final, that boys final. Pretty much confirmed already. Scots and Silverstream, and Silverstream scored a converted try to win that game on last Saturday, 7 points to 5. So that'll be an exciting final next Sunday.
That's a brave run by Sia, and number 11 for Tawa College. Spirited burst by Ufa. She's 10 metres shy from halfway, but refusing to surrender. Look at the power. It's a superb run by Ufa. Tawa's best moment in the game. And they've got space on the blind side. What a run by Natui Kana, and she deserves a try, Brad. Rapura Natui Kana, she saved a try earlier with her defence, and now she's dazzled through and put Tawa on the scoreboard.
Well, Natui Kana, she's an excellent try. It came off a good break set up by Katumbu in the 12 jersey. But just reward for Tawa, they decided to go for the scrum right on their own 22. Of course, St Mary's a powerful scrum, but Tawa saw a gap in the back line of St Mary's, and they sailed down this Jerry Collins grandstand side to score their first try.
And Tuikana is going to take the conversion attempt as well. And perhaps she can be forgiven for that. Missed the legs. Exhausted after that thrilling try. We've seen 5 tries from St Mary's, Brad, but perhaps that dazzling display by Tawa was the best of the match so far.
Well, it certainly was, and that's probably the most impressive try here tonight. Of course, in the previous game, Sacred Heart, Amur scored 4 tries in that impressive win for Sacred Heart over Nana College. And of course, as you had mentioned earlier, St Mary's won the earlier match against Wainui Amata. They were leading well and truly comfortably at half-time, St Mary's, but Wainui came back and were within 5 points, but then St Mary's scored a flurry of tries to win that game pretty comfortably.
Well, that kickoff, it's like a balloon untied mid-flight, just died on the Tawa player, and she couldn't get down and secure. You know, there was a couple of interesting pieces of trivia in the All Black squad this week pertaining to women's rugby. Rico Ioane selected. His mother, Sandra Gavitt, was a Blackfern, and there was also Cullen Grace selected from Timaru Boys High School, and Cullen Grace follows Jock Ross, the great All Black lock, whose mother Christine Ross was a Blackfern.
Yes, that's right. Christine Ross, Blackfern, and of course Jock Ross himself, and of course their son, Isaac Ross, played a few tests for the All Blacks. So, you know, good to see some real strong family names still involved in rugby.
And there might be more tradition added to the legacy of the Blackferns here with this thrilling passing and counter-attack by St Mary's College. They're 15 metres out from the line, and they have a 3-on-1 overlap. This is so clinical from St Mary's. They really are a polished outfit. And Mercedes Lolasio, well, she puts the keys in the ignition and powers over the line.
Well, and that's their 6th try, St Mary's, 30 points to 5. And they're such a well-drilled side. Their manager is a teacher at the school, Tody Myers, and he's a referee coach at the Wellington Referees Association. He was going to retire last year, but a week after the Term 4 finished, St Mary's rang him up and said, no, we need you back. 78 years of age, Adam, at St Mary's College, Tony Myers, and he manages both the St Mary's teams, and he's been on many rugby tours with them, including to the top 4 and to the Condor Sevens. He's a real servant of the game, Tony Myers.
Why would Tony Myers want to retire with thrilling talent like this? St Mary's leading by 30-5. Of course, St Mary's rugby program really was engineered by Tunga Maitiva, the Ori's fullback, who celebrated his 100th game on Saturday. Ori's beat Old Boys University by 22-17. And I spoke to Matt Fowler, the students' halfback, about that game, and he said it was like being behind a wave. Such was Ori's relentlessness in that first half. An upset at the Polo Ground. Ori's winning for Tunga Maitiva, who was the coach of St Mary's when they won the top 4 with Adi Savia. St Mary's break down the blind side again. They're 10 metres out from the 22. One of the key features of St Mary's play is the nimble handling of their big forwards. Loose ball collected by Tuia, and unfortunately she lost it forward. But really, one of the things that has changed so dramatically in the female game is the handling of the front rowers. Pip Love and Eldora Aitunu, the present New Zealand props, absolutely superb. And who could ever forget Toka Naitua's display in the 2017 World Cup final? 3 tries in 20 minutes. And Toka told me a great story, Brad. She was in the Tokaroa warehouse and she was paged without her knowledge, mobbed by the patrons of the store, and she was so embarrassed that she ran away from the store. Toka Naitua, one of the great personalities in New Zealand women's rugby. 30 points to 5. 10 minutes remaining in the first half.
Well, of course, the stories Adam tells you about these Black Ferns. Adam has been doing a project this year profiling all the Black Ferns and previous Black Ferns that have played for the national team. It's a project that's still ongoing, and there are some real fascinating stories. Earlier this year on Huddy Sports via Huddy Hui, as St Mary's going for another try. That is number 4, Tusa. She glides over. And the score now is 35 points to 5. 22 and a half minutes gone.
Vonzel Tusa, combative front row forward with athleticism and nimble ball skills. She got to the outside of her marker and really there was little hope for Tawa. So 7 tries, 35 to 5. 7 minutes remaining in the first half.
And just coming back to the story just before that try, Adam, of course, on a Huddy Hui episode only a few months ago on Huddy Sports, we interviewed former Black Fern coach Daryl Suasua. Of course, you had the pleasure of meeting Daryl Suasua, Adam. He's before the interview, he's a lovely individual, but he's literally the man that got the Black Ferns going and installing the values. And of course, there was that very famous story when they went to the World Cup for the first time, Adam.
1998, the Black Ferns won the World Cup. Vanessa Coots, she's been working in the Hamilton office of the MSD for 30 years. She scored 5 tries against the Americans. And that's an unfortunate moment for St Mary's. They fumbled the ball forward and then played at it. So here's an opportunity for Tawa. 35 to 5. And Tawa, they've had some excellent wins this season.
Well, Adam, they have had a few excellent wins. They've beat Otaki 45 points to 27. Won by default over Wainui. And then won against Kapiti 29 points to 24. And also beat Aotea 41 points to 26. as Tawa get the ball from their scrum. Here's Tuakana. Tuakana gives it out to her winger. Her winger brushes off one. That is jersey number 12. Katumba, the player that helped set up the first try for St. Mary's, is Tawa into the 22. Tuakana gives the ball out to Tuata, but there's a penalty here against St. Mary's. Diving off their feet is the call as Tawa let to go for the quick tap. It's a good tackle by St. Mary's as the advantage has been played for Tawa again, Adam. Jersey 13 Uffa. She advances a few metres. They're only 3 metres away from the try line. Here's the ball. Tawa scored their second try. Who was that try scorer, Adam? Jersey number 12.
Tawa Katumbu has scored the try, Brad. That was quality play from Tawa College. They exhibited a lot of patience. There were some smashing tackles by St. Mary's, but Tawa committed significant numbers to the breakdown, recycled the ball quickly and cleanly, and exploited the short side. And Nakawa Tumbu crashed over in the corner. It was a difficult finish. She had a defender and the corner flag to negotiate with, but she managed to evade both just in the nick of time and collect Tawa's second try.
Well, Nakawa Tumbu, she helps out the first try for old Natuakana, and Natuakana's conversion is unsuccessful, so half-time here at Jerry Collins Stadium. 35 points to 10. St. Mary's in the lead.
9 tries in the first half, none converted. St. Mary's 4 tries in the first 9 minutes. Tawa have fought back gamely since, but this is a one-horse race at the moment. St. Mary's 35, Tawa 10. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
See if the mics come back on.
Premier 1 girls final. The last half of the season. St. Mary's 35, Tawa 10. Can Tawa engineer a miracle? Or will St. Mary's steamroll to their 4th title in 5 years? It's about to happen. Well, number 10, Falaniko, will kick off the ball. And she was one of the stars of the first half. She scored 2 tries. And her support play, searing pace and decision-making was instrumental in toppling Tawa's defence. There's a snatch and run at the kick-off by Vaka. St Mary's 22 metres out. Here's a storm coming. Leota. That's 8 tries. Marvina Leota.
Well, 8 tries for St Mary's. And they get the second half action underway very quickly as Tawa retreat to their own goal. Well, it's a classy outfit, St Mary's, and they got some young women out here today who certainly could be playing in the Wellington Pride in a few years, and some potential Black Ferns as well. St Mary's College, Catholic Girls' School, in Central Wellington. Conversion unsuccessful. Score now is 40 points to 10 here at Jerry Collins Stadium as referee calls time off.
Well, of course, the rules around schoolgirls representing their province in the Farah Cup have changed. The game's changed too. Much more professional and strenuous now, but Wellington arguably boasts the youngest ever rugby international, Neroli Knight, from the Stokes Valley Club, represented New Zealand at the Rugby Festival in Christchurch in 1990 as a 15-year-old. Beth Mallard, the daughter of the Speaker of the House, Trevor Mallard, played for Wellington when she was 14 years old out of the Wainuiamata Club, Wainuiamata Girls Rugby. Very strong part of the fabric of Wellington Secondary School's Girls Rugby. They've won this title twice. St Mary's really establishing a foothold on the grade. But prior to that, St Catherine's College were very strong. And Jonah Nungwu, present Black Fern, first woman to play 100 games for Auries, is an old girl of that school. She was in this game when St Catherine's won it in 2009. This is Tawa and St Mary's though. Can Tawa ride a headline? A nudge forward by Natuikana, covered by Falaniko. She can defend vigorously as well. Well, Tawa's Natuikana, Brad, has been their best player. She's tried to engineer attack. She's been elusive on occasions, and her defence really epitomises the spirit of this Tawa team. Well beaten tonight, but you can't fault their industry.
Oh no, they've never given up at all, and she's certainly been Tawa's go-to player, both for attack and defence tonight. As St Mary's go on their back line. Well, it's another try for St Mary's, Adam.
Leighton has scored. Brad lost for words. And really, it is a privilege to see such a thrilling rugby. Notice the way that the St Mary's backs were lined up on the blind side. It was almost like watching the old Australian flat back line. Quick hands, draw and pass, and then the inside ball to switch the direction and create the 9th try, and the conversion has rattled off the post, so that's the closest one to going over. 11 misses out of 11. So that will be a concern, though, for St Mary's as they approach their semi-final in the Hurricanes area against Manakura. Manakura, very accomplished side, beaten finalists in the national top 4 2 years ago from Hamilton Girls High School. Have really set the pace in recent times. They've won the top 4 3 times in the last 4 years. Waikato Farah Cup team really flying high as well. Stacey Flula, hat-trick on Saturday. What a thrilling talent she is.
Of course, Salika Winiata Adam is in the team. She's the captain of the Manawa 2 team. Dallas.
Shy of the 22. Hold on, attack of St. Mary's. A penalty conceded by St. Mary's. Referee lag. Penalising St. Mary's.
11 tries, 45 to 10. St. Mary's have produced a number of famous alumni over the years. Perhaps the most notable, Fram Wild, whose name bears the concourse at the stadium. And some of these girls have shown that they may well feature on the stadium shortly. Thrilling rugby. Midfield scrum for Tawa. 10 out from the 22. And Noah Kantumbu to halfway. Beautiful tackle from Kershaw. That was textbook. And she's won the turnover as well. Number 11 is Malia Faremo. 40 metres out from the line, and this time it's a Tawa penalty, Brad.
Well, that time St. Mary's guilting of side entry at the breakdown. Of course, you must be going through the hindmost foot, and that's an area this season that we have seen, Adam, that referees have been a lot tougher on. Is the side entry, not going through, not going from behind the foot and through the gate. Of course, there were certain leeways, but now they've refined the laws. So, St. Mary's guilty of a side entry penalty, but Tawa have elected to go for the scrum. Remember, they scored their first try from a scrum platform, Adam.
And it was a superb try too. They used the blind side and found some space. This time they rattle through the open side and win a penalty at halfway. Quick tap by Tawa, and Upper Sale is at the 10-metre mark. She was squashed by her opposite, Tolava'a Willie. Tolava'a Willie, Brad, in number 1. She was pivotal in the initial damage that St. Mary's did. She busted from the opening kickoff as St. Mary's find space again. Fafua, 15 out from the 22. St. Mary's in centre field. Look at the way they assemble the back line. Leota, damaging run to the 22. St. Mary's with a 3-on-0. And dashing away is Leafa to bring up the half century. That's 10 tries, 50 to 10.
Well, Leafa brings up 10 tries, 50 points on the board. And not even 7 minutes gone in this first half, Adam. This could be a long second half here. As you mentioned in the earlier season, it was 64 points to 15. St. Mary's winning Tawa. They're on track to probably do better than that score at the moment. As Tawa player that went off earlier in the first half has now walked off to the ambulance, so hopefully nothing too serious for her. St. Mary's conversion attempt. Well short of the post when the drop goes. The score remains 50 points to 10.
Well, we must emphasise that Tawa came into this game with less than 15 players, and they've lost 2 individuals. One in the first half and another just prior to that try. They're assembled behind the goalposts, having a long deliberation. They won't throw in the white towel, though, this outfit. They're very brave, although there is a consultation between the referee and the assistant referee, Brad.
Well, there might be a thing here with subs, possibly. They may have. I think they may have run out at him. We'll see what happens. As the referees discussing with David Fa'atafa, the college sport representative here. He's the man that knows all the ins and outs of the bylaws of college rugby. And Ian Lang just getting some reassurance, so game can continue.
Well, Tawa have got 9 players on the field, Brad.
Well, referee Lang, actually, we thought he was restarting play, but no, he's off to see Tawa, the Tawa management.
And St. Mary's have got 11. Well, Tawa have been restored to 10 as Noah Kantumbu comes back on. Of course, the Fijian influence in Wellington women's rugby prominent at the moment, with Rajeli Uluinea playing halfback for Wellington. And we saw the women's Premier final a few weeks ago, Brad, and what a beautiful game that was. Auries against Norse, Auries winning by 64-12, and who could ever forget Bernadette Robinson's try to bring up the half century? A comment on the Auries Premiers.
Well, the Auries Premiers side in pretty much ready for a game by more than 50 points this season. There's Alicia Litialenga. She is an absolute star. There's St Mary's with the break here, centre field. They advance over the 22. It's a good run here by number 7, Leighton. She's short, 4 metres short of the try line. St Mary's still in possession of the ball. Tawa at 6s and 7s. And St Mary's score over. Taparo scores the 11th try for St Mary's. 55 points to 10.
Plaza Tapa'u marauding her way through a crowd of 4 defenders, but the credit for the try really belongs to Nia Leighton, the open side flanker, running like a greyhound, supremely caught by the retreating Tawa defence. Their spirit is unbreakable, but St Mary's quality undeniable. 55-10, and that's 11 tries now. Here's a moment for Falaniko. It's wobbling towards the post, and it's hit the middle of the upright. Well, it's harder to hit the middle of the upright than actually get it over, Brad.
Well, don't see that. Oh, well, we do see that quite often. We've seen it a few times in rugby, but yeah, particularly when you're in a pretty straightforward position, you should be able to get those ones over. So score remains 55 points to 10. 36 minutes gone in this match. The second half, of course, it's not a full game of rugby. It's only 25-minute halves. Tawa with the ball to restart. Well, we mentioned before, Adam, that the Oriental Rongotai women's side this season did not lose a game. They scored most of their games.
Here she goes again, Brad. Leighton.
Oh, she keeps interrupting me for the story. But, well, we're fine here. But they'll be a bit disappointed, Oriental Rongotai, Adam. They conceded only 2 tries this season. They were both for the final. And here we go.
Here is another try for Leota. Malia Eferimu Liafi with the inside ball, and Leota, well, she's been a wrecking ball. And she touches down for try number 12. And we must thank our cameraman Hamish Wareham for capturing these vivid and dramatic pictures. Wareham Sports Media, one of the finest sports websites around, and she missed the conversion. Liapa. Oh, they're getting closer, Brad.
Oh, they're certainly getting closer. They'll get one over eventually. The score now is 60 points to 10. 38 minutes gone of this match. Tawa, well, depleted with injuries, but they're fighting. They're hanging in there. Oh, this St Mary's outfit, though, Adam, is just outstanding. And you can see that they're well coached by the likes of Isaac Fianati. Of course, Isaac Fianati coaches Marist St Pat's. They're in the Jubilee Cup semi-final this weekend against Old Boys University. Isaac Fianati, of course. Here's an interesting stat for our story for our viewers. So, in Clint Eastwood's movie Invictus about the 95 World Cup Springboks, they were trying to find someone that was big and looked like Jonah Lomu. And who'd they pick? Isaac Fianati. He was Jonah Lomu in Clint Eastwood's movie about the 1995 Springbok team.
Tawa College, 15 metres out from the line. seeking their first try of the second half. Here comes a determined burst by Upper. She's a blade of grass short. Tawa, like bees around a honey pot, on the 5x5. Loose pass. It's collected by Sale. Sale enveloped by a crowd of St Mary's defenders and pushed back. Tawa 10 metres out from the line. Advantage penalty on the 5x5.
Unfortunately for Tawa, it was St Mary's that stole and continued to play. Tawa ran the ball back over towards the eastern touchline. Quick tap.
Here come Tawa again. Uffa. The Tawa battering ram. Tawa. Rumble down the short side through Yasmin Fitness. Goodness me, that's an apt name for that fine young athlete. Tawa still on the 5x5. St Mary's defending like it's the last minute of the national final. Here she goes again. Upper. Tawa bunched. But determined. Poor Natuikana. She's got there. Natuikana, that's her second try. And somehow she managed to slither through. And really, Brad, that told us two stories about the game. One, about the quality and desperation of the St Mary's defence, which was smothering, suffocating and stifling. But Tawa, their spirit is undeniable and they scored.
Well, good on them, Tawa. They've had a hard match in this final. Tuakana getting the second try. Tawa's third. And just reward for their efforts. They haven't given up. The conversion is unsuccessful. 41 minutes gone. 60 points to 15. Of course, the previous time these two played was 64 points to 15.
Conversion unsuccessful has been the theme of the night. Who needs them?
19 minutes remaining. Premier 1 girls final. St Mary's College 12 tries, 60 points. Tawa 3 tries, 15 points.
Depleted they are with injuries galore, but Tawa keep on fighting. St Mary's now with the restart, not long to go. Down inside the final 10 of this Premier 1.
The bounce is claimed by McMahon. Tawa with some thrilling attack down the blind side. It's Uffa again. Well, Uffa truly mobile.
Come back into open space. By way of Uffa there.
Number 3 is Uffa. There's 2 Uffas in the game. 15 out from the 22. Disputed possession. Tawa reclaim it. Uffa Masanga to the 22. Loopy pass to Sao. She's 20 metres out from the line. It's stolen by St Mary's. And Tawa reclaim it. And they sizzle down the short side. Saia scores. Well, that's a thrilling try. 4 tries for Tawa. 2 in each half. And 60 to 20. Well, with Tawa, Brad, about 5 minutes ago, this game was under threat from being called off. Somehow, some way, one of their injured players has resumed her place on the roster, and they've scored 2 tries. Outstanding.
Well, outstanding for Tawa, and good on them for keeping up the fight and being determined to play this final. And they put up a really good fight here, Adam. St Mary's. Oh, we've finally got a conversion of the final, Adam. Here we go. Well, it's actually the first conversion of the night, Adam. Not one has been kicked in the previous 3 games.
A conversion to Rapora Natuikana. She's been perhaps Tawa's best player, so it's apt that she has that honour. That might be a question at a school reunion in 20 years. Who kicked the solitary conversion in the Premier 1 girls final? The restart. Dribbles down to the 22. Nakawa tumble. Backslammed by Tusa. Afa Masanga. Claimed by Tuia. 5 up from halfway in centre field. Look at that pass from Natuikana. Directed towards Saia, the previous try scorer. It went forward, but the intent was ambitious. And the referee has brought play back for a no-arms tackle.
Well, no-arms tackle. We haven't seen any of those tonight, but St Mary's guilty there as Tuakana gets us back underway. Here's a good charge here by McMahon in the 8 jersey. But she's wrapped up in a good tackle by St Mary's. Tawa still in possession of the ball. Here's Tuakana. Off the good step. She chips it through, but St Mary's player was there to pick up the pieces at him. And a penalty here against St Mary's. Side entry at the breakdown again. So Tawa having the better of possession here in the last 5 minutes, Adam.
16 tries in the final. 60 to 22. There's a reason why women's rugby is the fastest growing brand of rugby in New Zealand. St Mary's have replaced their entire forward pack. Well, when Tawa down to 9 players and St Mary's replaced the whole forward pack, that really is an indication of the ruthless efficiency of this successful outfit. Now, a kick out towards the wing of Katambo. She's got it at the 10-metre mark. She surges towards the 22. What a good tackle by Fafua. Tawa 10 out from the 22. A line up to pass to, but Upper straightens the attack and then bustles out towards the blind side. She's enveloped in a bear hug by 2 St Mary's defenders. Number 4 is Emily Humphreys. Well, Emily Humphreys wins a penalty for Tawa. "13 minutes left in the final. 60 to 22, 16 tries and 1 conversion. There's a very amusing story from that 1998 World Cup campaign. The Black Ferns played Germany in the first game, won 134-6, and Germany kicked a penalty when the score was 103-3, and the number 8 who kicked it did cartwheels as a breakout is made by Tara again, and Katambo is 5 metres out, 5 metres in from touch, and it's a penalty for Tawa.
St Mary's have conceded the last 26 penalties.
Well, it's a Tawa medics run on, but the Tawa players have told them to go away.
Well, that paramedic for Tawa looks like a Ghostbuster in that retro green, Kermit green backpack as Afa rumbles towards the line and is bundled unceremoniously into touch.
St Mary's player just literally pushed her into touch.
Well, Afa has proven very difficult to stop. You know, she wouldn't be out of place in the St Mary's team.
goes to the front. It's fielded. It's good.
St Mary's with the defensive line out. A fumble in the in-goal area. And it's a 5-metre scrum for Tawa. Well, that was almost Billy Slater there. She smothered the ball. And now Tawa, Brad, in prime position to score their 5th try.
Well, 5th try. You know, it was looking quite dicey for Tawa. It was looking like it was going to be quite a high-scoring game, close to 100. But handed to them in the second half. They've really fought hard as they have the scrum. Full-time siren goes off. Into Akata. She kicks it through, but the St Mary's player's back there. She looks to ground into the end goal. She does. But the referee said there's still time. So we're having a 22-minute dropout at him. Ian Lang's having too much fun out there.
The scoreboard clock shows that time is up. St Mary's with the short restart. And they get it in the 22. And sailing up to halfway is Faraniko to the 10-metre mark. She pulls up lame at the 22 and then she rediscovers her speed. Loose pass. 3-on-1. St Mary's there. Poro Natuikana has won the penalty. Well, that's not the first time tonight that she's scrambled back in retreat to save a situation for Tawa.
Well, spirited effort by Tawa. You know, St Mary's at the break there, but now Tuakana, Adam, she, even though she's in the losing side tonight, should be very close to being player of the match. She's been outstanding.
Absolutely, Brad. Very good player. Some screaming runs, tenacious defence. Tawa have it through Nakawa Tumble. She is scragged at the 22. The ball has been fumbled. The game is over. St Mary's smash their way to a 4th Premier 1 title in 5 years. 60-22. Tawa toppled. And really it was that blitzkrieg in the first 8 minutes, Brad. 4 tries in 8 minutes. Tawa down to 9 players. Possibly could have boycotted, but they hung in very gamely and contributed some genuine highlights to what was a very entertaining decider.
Well, it was an entertaining game, Adam. Lots of tries, some gutsy play. But Tawa can be pretty impressed with their efforts out there, particularly the second half. Down on numbers, injuries, but they fought back. Good on them. 60 points to 22. A high-scoring affair, but St Mary's, as you mentioned before, their 4th title in 5 years, Adam. You can see why they are the dominant rugby school for girls in Wellington. And they head off to Palmerston North next weekend to play Matakura.
Dave Lintott, he's lost here after the entertainment in this one, snapping the winning photos. It's been a hellraiser of a final. St Mary's 60, Tawa 22, St Mary's champions of Wellington again.